Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, hello everyone. Again, my name is Benji. RTA or just Benji. I'll be running a category that I have routed, that also I have made and defined. I also rerouted it a month ago. This category is called Beat Shadow Temple as Child. As it says, I'm trying to defeat the Shadow Temple, which you normally do as adult, as
Hello?
child. So, yeah, there are some restrictions also on this category. You're not allowed to use reverse bottle adventure, which allows you to write stuff into your inventory. With the exception of bottle duplication. Bottle duplication is not RBA or anything else. You're not allowed to bottle adventure where you are writing items you have never collected onto your B button, or and you're not allowed to memory manipulate around. It's too loud. It's a bit loud. Okay. A little bit more quiet. Okay. That should be better, I guess. Sorry about that.
I was gonna tell you to change it.
Okay, and you're not allowed to memory manipulate the thing that's called a GIM, where you can manipulate items. And yeah. And you're not allowed to ever get adult. That's the other thing that you're not allowed to. But yeah. Ah, yes, the thing of a thing. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I'm trying to explain as much as possible. I'm super nervous, but please don't hit me if I'm explaining stuff a little bit wrong. I'm trying to give my best. So, of course, what starts off to being woken up by Navi. He says, well, you have to save the world because the old Deku Tree told you so. Yeah. 20 minutes later, I killed him. So, this category is basically showcases stuff that you normally do not do in RTA categories. And also not even in bingos. Okay. Thanks, Wizard, for the good luck. Okay, first what we gotta do is to get the sword. We're not getting the shield yet, because it's way slower. Was a bad backflip. Okay. Was a 323. So as Mikami said in his run before, backwalking is faster than walking. Basically because the devs made it like that, and also if you basically only backwalk if the roll distance or the amount of rolls you have to do is more than 4. That's the sword. Hey Sasaki! Hey Sue, thanks for the good luck. What was that? Oh my god, what happened? What happened? I know! Readjust. There we go. That never happened to me before. Sometimes the camera in this game is screwing you over for no reason. So, in comparison to what I rated, I'm doing a different way to escape the forest, which is called target escape. You also call it aqua escape, depending on what strat you're doing. What I'm doing is target escape, because I'm a filthy noob. So what you do is to target a specific spot and jump slash here on a very specific frame. It's frame perfect. I bet it's at input perfect. Yeah, 50 milliseconds to react to that. So now we're outside of the Lost Woods. What I'm doing now is to collect 40 rupees while I'm trying to get a bottle. Why I'm getting a bottle, I will explain that later on. Because we never need the ocarina in this game, or in this category. Go. That was the red Octorok rupee. And now we're going to Kakariko as fast as possible. Because when it's nighttime, you cannot get the Kako. And you would have to waste a whole night cycle. So what I'm doing here now is something called a water extended super slide. It's the same as Ray does. I'm gonna explain it while collecting the Kakos here. So when you get recoil speed and land in water and hold target and slightly apart from you hold your control stick slightly from neutral, you basically have that effect that you get something called the West. So Lynx is shuffling all the time, and also there's another effect to it that it makes Link think the game think you're busy, because when you enter Kakariko for the first time as a child, there is an owl there, so it would normally stop you and say like, hey, blah blah blah. I don't even know what the owl was talking about because I cannot read Japanese. And things like super slides, like Hesses or Wesses or super slides in general, always make the game think you're busy. Tremendous Kakos. Oh, please. So you can also manipulate the... Thank you very much, Anju. You can manipulate those Kakos. By looking at the direction they should be escaping to. Hey. Ah! Please! Go. What? What? Kako, please! Why didn't you get hit? I want to pick up the Kako, please! Okay. That was a very bad bottle, but that's okay. So now we got the bottle. After we got the bottle, we are catching something that we can re-catch later on. Because we need to do something called a wrong warp. So what I did here now is a safe warp, and there are some special effects about safe warping, because A, it prevents you from backtracking, and B, if you safe warp outside of a dungeon as child, you will land back at home. And since we now have 40 rupees, we can go buy the shield. Yeah, at least no soft lock. Yeah, there's a thing. When you this is a frame perfect soft lock actually. If you talk to Andrew at the same frame, the game counts the Kako as collected. Then the game soft locks you. Yeah, there's no way to escape that. You have to reset then. So now we're going to do the Deku Tree for very specific reasons, and you will see that in like around 4 minutes, I guess. Ah, that was not good. What I tried to attempt here is something called a recoil boost. When you jump slash into a cutscene, you will get additional speed. So Link walks more further into the map. Okay. Okay. So, this will be now a sequence of a lot of mind-blowing things, if I can get them right. But first, let me collect 10 nuts, because I need 10 nuts. Oh my god, no. Oh, I tried to do a frame. I tried to do it, but I pulled the stick on the one frame before you could do it. I will explain that. So what I tried to do was something called Navitech skip. If you're pulling out items, the game thinks you're busy and never triggers items. So, and pulling out a stick gives you 4 frames of making the game think you're busy. So what I tried is to get close enough. So never trigger that. Let's see. 1. Ah, I didn't get it. I got the perfect side out, but I was 1 frame too late. What I tried to do is something called a B1 skip. And it's almost frame perfect. And since I didn't get it, of course there are backups for that. Go. And we can also do this. Bye. Here we go. So when you do the B1 skip, like I did it, be it with the backup or with the recall, you basically always unload that web, because the game developers never intended you to ever get onto that spot like that. The web normally loads either if you pause the game in that area, or if you get from the crawl space, like originally intended. Yeah, and now we're doing Goma. Let's see if I can do the Goma clip unbuffered. Ah, I didn't get it unbuffered. I was 1 frame too early. Okay, so what happened there? I got something. I got a glitch called ISG, where you crouch step and interrupt the crouch step on the last frame, which is frame perfect, by talking to Navi or interacting with an object. That gives me the possibility to hover and also get pushed through that small gap when Goma gives you that hit. And that allows us to center the blue warp when we re-enter that room. You can also do the same by dying, but doing the Goma clip is faster. So give me a little bit. I need to focus here a lot. Okay. Okay. That was easy peasy. What? I was 1 frame too early. What happened there? Okay, what the heck was that? How come I was 1 frame too early there? What happened? Okay, I get pushed. Okay, that should do it. Here we go. So that's basically the same as that Ray did in RDO, but what happened here is I basically played the ocarina in places where I'm not intended to by backflipping, pressing the bottle item that I have in my hand, and then pressing a weapon. Can be a Deku stick, it can be the hook shot, can be the sword, can be the master sword, anything that just like dealing damage or something. And then when I trigger that ocarina items glitch, where I can play the ocarina on places where I'm not intended to. That was bad. This recovery. You can. You basically can. The game that basically doesn't know what to do, and allows you to cancel the animation where you get warped out. And there's some weird stuff happening then with memory addresses and stuff. And I'm not gonna explain because it's way too complicated. Way too complicated to explain. You land here in Ganondorf's castle when you do it from woo, that was close. When you do it from the Deku Tree. I'm sorry if I'm explaining a little bit flowy, but I'm super nervous. Okay, let's not get guard trolled. This game loves to guard troll me a lot. Oh my god, that was so clutch, man. Okay, I get bad guard RNG there, but whatever. That's okay. Gonna take this one. Better get bad RNG, bad guard RNG than getting caught. Eat that sticks, Zelda. Because you like the D, OP. So, what happened? Like, why did I land? Did I land outside of Zelda's castle instead of Ganon's castle? Okay, let me explain this, since I have lots of time to explain now, since this cutscene is 3 minutes long, 3.5 minutes long, I think. Okay, so the game basically warps you to other places like this. The scenes get loaded like has a scene list, and it loads the scene according to your age and daytime. So like there are 4 possibilities: child day, child night, adult day, adult night. When you're exiting the Ganon's castle as adult, regardless what daytime it is, it will check if are you an adult or a child. If you're adult, well, you land outside Ganon's castle. If you're child, it lands a different scene, because that's how the developers made that, and how the memory points to that. So when you do it as exit as adult, you land outside of Ganon's castle. But if you do it as child, it acts if you would leave Zelda's castle, which would mean we land outside Zelda's castle. We leave Zelda's castle from the crawl space. That's how that works. And when we are one warping, we're going basically out of bounds with these scene lists by abusing the last cutscene pointer and some other little memory things. And then we can go out of bounds of this memory range, and that allows us to warp ourselves to points we're not intended to, or we're getting the spiritual stone or the medallion without actually watching that cutscene, and we're basically respawning at the beginning of the dungeon then. That's what ROM warping is. You're triggering the blue warp on the border by using the Ocarina items glitch, and while canceling, there's a timer that counts up frames from 1 to 101 if I remember correctly, or something like that. And you have to stop the timer at a specific frame, and you can stop that with your camera because it's dependent on your camera sometimes. So what I did here is something called Zelda's Lullaby Skip. Pretty simple to explain. When you're standing at the border of a cutscene trigger and get pushed into the cutscene while dying, you basically skip the cutscene. And also, the very funny thing is, developers programmed this game pretty badly. So, when you trigger cutscenes, like where you get medallions or stones or stuff like songs, it gives it to you into your inventory at the very first frame it gets triggered. So what we do is we're dying on the first frame of the cutscene while getting pushed into it, and and that allows us to get the song without ever watching the cutscene. So, here comes the mind-blowing shit. Now the run really begins, because this is not easy. So, what I'm gonna do is the child setup for the Chew Teleport Super Slide. That it requires us to get ISG here. Okay. After we got ISG, we're trying to position ourselves perfectly to a very specific spot. Then I backwalk here on the first frame, drop it, and then mash A. What happens is I get a super slide while Link tries to grab the bush. And then I land up there when I release target. So, what happened there? What the hell just happened there? So, I tried to explain a little bit of it first. But when you super slide, the game thinks you're busy, and everything what you're meant to do afterwards is being set into a queue like that. Because Link tries to grab the bush. And when you get ISG, you can manipulate easily your X and Y coordinate, but you cannot drastically change your Z coordinate. So what happens is I abuse the ISG physics by getting to a higher place. And when I release, the game thinks, well, I have to grab the bush now. I will teleport you back to the position where you meant where you tried to get the bush, and then it puts me to the same height though. And what I did now? Nope, that's not working. Well, GG. I don't have enough health now. Let me reset there. I need full health here. I need full health here. So when you also get ISG, you cannot drastically change your Z coordinate or Z coordinate, however you want to call it. So that allows us to walk on seams without ever falling down. What I'm trying to do is to cross this gap. 1, 2, 3, bam! Nope. Go. Oh, nope. Man, what's going on? I have so many chews left, so it doesn't really matter if I waste this many chews. Okay. Okay, here we go. And Mega Flip. If you light flip on a specific frame and release it to target on a specific frame, so I have enough distance, you do something called a Mega Flip, which gives you a very hard recoil boost while backflipping. That's what I'm doing here too. I'm trying to do something called Truth Spinner Skip as child. Shout out to the X-Wazzle for showing me that that setup. And boom! We're clipping into that by getting very a high negative speed and using a very precise position here. Okay. Now comes the cool and hard part. So what I'm gonna do is something called block skip. Before boat skip was found, people did this as adult, and there is also a child setup for this, which also requires frame perfect inputs. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, perfect. Okay, nice. That's something called a Z slide, where I try to hold on. More frames. One more frame. Okay. Okay. One more frame. One more frame. Not trusting this. Yep, here we go. We have ISG. By doing something called a C slide. But basically, oh, that was nice. Basically, I'm sliding into the explosion, and that gives Link very weird physics effects. And what I did there before was getting ISG by interrupting my crouch stab, called damage ISG. And what I'm doing now is something called side flip hovers. They're frame perfect. And that's the sickest shit I've ever seen, man. Okay. The boat. So, we don't need the ocarina, because we can do the same here as well. Smoke weed every day. Well, not really. Don't do drugs, kids. Yeah, that's the reason why we got Zelda's Lullaby, because there's no RTA viable strat that's faster than the way I do it to skip the boat for child. But we're still not done yet. We're still not done yet. We're still not done yet. You will never catch me. You will never catch me. La 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 la. You will never catch me. You will never catch me. Oops! I fell down. Come on, hold down, please. Oops! What I'm also doing here is to store the jump slash, because when with the Deku Stick, because it deals the damage of 4, and when you're jump slashing, that amount of damage is being stored when I crouch stab. So I deal that amount of damage every single time when I crouch stab. Then what I'm able to get is to get a small key, because I cannot get that other part without the small key, and I need the boss key too. Let me get that after this. Okay. This is a setup that I made. Okay. Come. Here we go. Easy peasy. And here we have the key. I need the heart, just for safety. Now let's. Oh, wrong. Wrong wall. Okay, now we get in the boss key, and many people would ask, well, how the hell would you? Well, thank you very much, game. How the hell do you get the boss key without magic? Well, here's the question. Here is the answer to the question. It's pretty easy to solve. Like this. I don't know how to call this setup, but yeah, baby. Okay, now we're done with everything and we can go to the boss. But here comes the question: how do you blow up those bombs? Pretty easy to do. Shoutouts to Juke for finding a setup for that. Your bae, I love you, baby. Have a pride. Oh, hold on. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I manipulated Bongo by bonking into that wall, totally. Okay, and now we're skipping that room. Ow, okay. Let me focus here. 4. 1, 2. It's a setup that I made too, as well. 1, 2, 3. Bam. Okay, one more frame. Place. Thank you. Okay, and we're in there. So, we're in Bongo Bongo. And this is pretty much the easiest fight you will ever see. I guess. Let's hope I don't die. Cross your fingers, guys. Get ready for time, by the way. Okay. Of course it gets bad RNG. But whatever. Shout out to Bakineko for showing me a new setup for this. And that was the Bongo Bongo fight. And now what we're gonna do is what I defined, how to define the category is you need to have the Shadow Medallion in your inventory and you have to show it. So you have to do the wrong word, because if you enter the wrong word as child there, you will crash the game. And I will explain why the game crashes after I got the wrong word. Okay. Aww. Hold on. We can fix this. It's pretty easy fixable. Good. Hello? Game place. Okay. Shout outs to Bakineko, by the way, for this setup. Get ready for time. And time. And here you go, guys. So, let me explain first, before I go on to the next run, why I died there. And second, why I had to do this wrong warp. Let me explain this. So, as I said, when you're trying to enter the blue warp and get the medallion normally as you're supposed to, you normally would crash the game. That's why I defined that category as you need to get that wrong warp. So let me explain you why that crashes. So entering the blue warp as a child on some adult dungeons crashes because the child scene setups define one spawn fewer. So you still end up loading the proper scene, but you crash because the link spawn is malformed. Some maps define alternate scene setups. For example, the Deco Tree doesn't do this, Jabu's Belly does, because of the cutscene you can roam warp into. For the most part, each of the playable scene setups define the same number of spawns for a scene. But with some of the spawns that you ultimately end up at in the overworld, there is just one less defined spawn for Child Link. So, for example, like for Kakariko Graveyard, you have 8 for Child and 9 for Adult. And based on the spawns, Forest, Shadow, and Spirit Temples will all crash, for example. Whereas Fire and Water Temple will not. And Fire and Water Temple, for example, don't crash because there's an array of a 2-byte data structure that stores the spawn index and the room to load. When you have an odd number of spawns, you have a 2 bytes of padding to get that 4-byte boundary. I know that sounds pretty complicated, but that's how it works. And that sends the spawn index and the room to 0, in Fire Temple or in Water Temple. That's how that stuff works. I know I didn't explain much. I'm super sorry for that, but because I wanted to focus on the run. I'm super, super happy with this run. A 35 is something I never thought I would get. And yeah. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I'm also speedrunning Spyro soon. And yeah, if you want to see more, you know what to do. Thanks a lot for having me, and have a nice day, guys.